I think you need to hear this. Maybe you want to flip houses. You've thought about it. I've done it. I've literally made every mistake you could ever possibly make, and you probably will too. But it's not something that should dissuade you from becoming a flipper. But you have to go in understanding that there's a lot of things that are probably going to go wrong. I'm going to try to give you some things that I've learned, 5 important things that I've learned from flipping houses. So you don't have to go and make all those mistakes. You probably will anyway, because nobody listens to anybody on the internet. And why should you? You're not sure that anybody really knows anything. My name is Jonathan Green. I run an off-market property acquisition company called Streamline Properties. I've been in investing for my entire life, more than 30 years. I used to go to garbage dump houses with my dad as a child. I've literally seen it all. And in that time, every time I've done something, I convince myself like, oh, I'm getting better. Flipping houses is going to get easier. And it just doesn't really work like that. Flipping houses is hard. It's not easy. And the more detached you are from the process, the more money you are going to lose. So let's do it. Top 5 things or 5 important things I've learned from flipping houses over the years. Number 1, I know you don't want to hear this, so I'll say it as it relates to me. Everything is my fault. Say it to yourself. Everything is your fault. Everybody who's flipped a home always complains about things going wrong, and it's their fault, and the contractor sucks, and my hard money lender is pushing too hard. I didn't realize it was that. It's not. It's always your fault. It's always my fault. If I chose the contractor, so what am I complaining if the contractor sucks? I chose the money, I chose the funding, I chose the finishes. And if I let somebody else choose, I gave them the power to make the choice. If I used a provider without any personal references from somebody that I know, that's my fault. The problem is accountability. And you have to go into every flip saying every single thing that goes on is going to be my fault. You have to take on all the responsibility, because if not, you're just going to say, oh, it's always somebody else's fault. That doesn't help you lose less money. Probably lose more money trying to blame it on other people. Number 2, get everything in writing. I know it's really tough. You think you can trust people, but if you want to know that stuff's going to get done, and if you have an issue later, you want it in writing. The worst case scenario is email or text. Best case scenario is via a contract, at least laying out what your providers are going to do, when the due date is going to be, barring anything crazy, and the cost. Never hand money if you don't have anything in writing. That's just insane. Number 3, everything costs more than you think and takes longer than you think. At least go into it thinking that. If you get lucky and it goes on time, like, great job. It's possible, but you have to go in thinking that your 90-day door-to-door is not really that possible. If everything goes perfect, nothing ever goes perfect right now. Everything's delayed. Appliances are delayed. We can't get the furniture and vanities that we want. Something says it's going to deliver in 4 days and it takes 3 weeks. It's just not the same as it used to be. Everything takes longer and costs more than you think. That's number 3. Number 4, I know you don't want to hear this one either. Stop skimping. Never skimp. You can't start to do a high-end renovation and then decide, oh, you've spent too much money, and then you start doing like bad renovation. Everybody knows you can't do high-end finishes in the kitchen and then just phone it in on the bathrooms. It looks weird. So you have to pre-plan and make sure that you understand how much everything is going to cost. Everybody knows, and it comes back to haunt you later when you've done a really good job in one part, and then everyone says, well, what happened here? This tile's terrible. This looks like, the back end that somebody left outside in the back at Home Depot that they gave back. Never skimp. Know your budgets, understand. And number 5, have reserves, like lots of them. You can't go in, even if you're using hard money and you're using the funding, you have to have more funding available. You can't be right on your number because everything costs more now. It's just the way that it is. And you need to have reserves available over of your own cash if you're using hard money, just in case, because you got to finish the job. As agents, we go out all the time and we're looking at houses with investors and it's like a half-done renovation. That's because they got a hard money loan, couldn't finish the renovation because they spent all their money too quickly, didn't understand the cost, contractor walked away. Again, all their fault, just like it's always all my fault. So I'm not telling you from a place of I know better than you. I know a lot, but I can tell you every single flip, I screw something else up or something goes wrong and permitting takes forever. And now have to acknowledge it's always my fault. No matter who I put in the system and what system I use, nothing's going to be perfect. There's so many little different things that can go wrong while flipping a house. Every single provider could do well, they could do poorly, they could show up, they could not show up. Everything that you order through the house as a product could show up on time, it could show up late, it could get lost. Everything is a problem. Permitting could take forever. The town could deny you permits, the town could do a stop work order. You have to understand, let's go through them one more time before we head out. 5 important things I've learned from house flipping. Number 1, everything is my fault, which means everything is your fault. If it's your flip, take responsibility. Number 2, get everything in writing, at least have a document and a cost basis to know what everything is. Number 3, everything costs more and takes longer than you think. That's a guarantee. Number 4, stop skimping. Never skimp. It's embarrassing. Number 5, have reserves, lots of them. This is a short one. We're going to do lots of longer videos on house flipping with some of my friends and with just me telling you about my process and how it works. But hope this is helpful for you. Again, my name is Jonathan Green. Off-market company is Streamline Properties. You can find us at streamlined.properties. Have a great day.